Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Gentlemen, this is your fifth lecture, and we are starting the static relays. We already covered the electromagnetic type of relays, and now it is the next phase of these type of relay. In static relays, the comparison measurement of electrical quantities by a static circuit will give us an output signal for tripping of circuit breaker. So basically, in this particular, no electromagnetic structure is used. It is all static, and all electronic circuit is used to perform the same type of duty as it was performed by electromagnetic circuit. A static relay implies semiconductor, diode, transistor, zener diode, thyristor, logic gates. These are all the necessary components of these static relays. Nowadays, the ICs, that is integrated circuit, are being used in place of transistor because they are more reliable and compact. Now, there are certain merits and demerits of static relay over electromagnetic relays. The advantages of static relays over electromagnetic relays are as follows. Number one, it is low burdens on CT and PT, and already we have defined this burden. What do we mean by burden? That is actual load on CT, that is the power consumed by these relays. This is normally defined as burden. And since CT and PT provide these type of relays, so it is burden on CT and PT. Naturally, the static relays can consume less power, and in most cases, they draw power from the auxiliary DC supply. Now, the second point which come into the merit of these is that fast response. Naturally, compared to electromagnetic, it is a fast response. It's long life compared to electromagnetic relays. All these are with respect to the electromagnetic relays. It's high resistance to shock and vibration. Naturally, you see, I have a mobile in my hand. If it fell on ground, doesn't matter until and if there is a severe shock. So more or less, it can bear uh, shocks and vibration up to a certain extent. So therefore, it is high resistant to shock and vibration. Now the fifth point is this: it requires less maintenance because there is no moving part uh, in this particular PRM type of thing. All these things are absent, so it requires less maintenance. Also, the frequent operations causes no deteriorations uh, like it occurs in case of electromagnetic type of relays. The seventh point is this quick resetting in absence of overshoot. It is eighth point is compact size. It is compact size. Uh, the ninth point is greater sensitivity as amplification can be provided easily. Tenth point is complex relaying characteristic can easily be obtained. Actually, 11 point logic circuits can be used for complex protective schemes. Gentlemen, there are certain demerits as each thing in this got a certain merit or certain demerits. So the demerits of the static relays are as follow. Uh, Gentlemen, these relays, number first point is this: these relays are temperature sensitive. So with variation of temperature, the characteristic may vary somewhat. So care should be taken so that it can be cool with certain arrangement, so that the temperature of these relay may be within a certain uh, range. Point number two, static relays are sensitive to voltage transient spikes, that is sometimes transient occur and very high voltage or very high voltage spikes appear in the supply. So these relays are sensitive to that. The semiconductor component may get damaged due to voltage spikes. Naturally, this is a bad effect of these voltage spikes. Filter and shielding can be used for their protection against voltage spikes. Number three, static relays need an auxiliary power supply for its operation because naturally we require a separate power supply for its operation. This can, however, be easily supplied by a battery or stabilized power. Okay. Now, gentlemen, a simple procedure or simple approach in case of these relays, that is, for example, let's say take overcurrent relay. So the overcurrent relay has two forces, as we have seen in the previous lecture of electromagnetic relay, that we have an operative force, operating torque, and we have restraining torque. So either the current or voltage develop these operating torques, that is the system current and the system voltage develop these operating torques. And opposite to that we have of course restraining torques. So naturally the relay will operate only when the operating torque is greater than the restraining torque. The same analogy is used here, or the same principle is being used here. When a fault occurs on a system, the magnitude of voltage and currents and phase angle between voltage and current may change. Naturally, these quantities due to fault condition may be different from those under healthy condition. The relay circuit is designed to recognize the changes and to distinguish between healthy and faulty condition. Third point, that this is either magnitude of voltage currents are compared or phase angle between voltage and currents are measured by a static relay. Circuitry and trip signal is sent to the circuit breaker when a fault occurs. The part of circuitry which compares the two actuating quantity, it means the actuating is not it is the two quantities, either an amplitude or phase, is known as comparator. So you see here we have two type of comparators normally, amplitude comparator and phase comparator. So number one, amplitude comparator. An amplitude comparator compares the magnitude of two input quantity irrespective of the angle between them. One of the input quantity is an operating quantity and the other a restraining quantity. When the amplitude of operating quantity exceeds the amplitude of restraining quantity, the relay sends a tripping signal. So, okay. Now amplitude comparator. Now you see here this comparator has two inputs M and N. M is the actuating quantity and N is, let's say, that is restraining quantity. So the output depend upon these input value, and the output signal is generated only when M is greater than N. It operates only when the operating quantity M is greater than the restraining quantity. So naturally the same principle was used in case of electromagnetic relay, that when the operating current or the operating torque is greater than the restraining torque, of course the relay operates, and the similar principle is applied here, but it is measured or it is being undertaken by these static elements. Okay. Types of amplitude comparator. Normally there are so many structures, let's say big word. The amplitude comparator can be done in a number of different ways. The following are some important methods which will describe to illustrate the principle. Circulating current type rectifier bridge comparator. Number 2 is phase splitting comparator, and number 3 is sampling comparator. Now, gentlemen, this diagram shows the rectifier bridge type amplitude comparator. The rectifier bridge type comparator are widely used for the realization of overcurrent and distance relay characteristic. The operating and restraining quantities are rectified and then applied to a slave relay or thyristor circuit as shown in figure and below figure A and B. This first figure shows we will define later on what is slave relay, and we have already studied thyristor circuit. So the first is of course with slave relay, sensitive polarized relay. This is basically a slave relay. So now we have two input, that is I operating, it is being rectified, and the other is of course a restraining current is taken from any reference source, so it is being rectified, and the direction of operating current and restraining current are shown. The direction of restraining and operating current are shown in the sensitive polarized relay, which is basically a slave relay. Now, this relay operates only when I naught is greater than IR. That is, the operating current is greater than the restraining current. And the direction of current is from up to downward. Now, gentlemen, this you will see we have already covered in electromagnetic type of relays. The polarized relay or the direction relay. You just see your notes, recall your memories when you are studying the electromagnetic type of relay, that when the direction current was in a particular when the current was in a particular direction, the relay will only operate. If the current direction reverses, the relay will not operate. So basically this is the same type of function. If the direction is of current from top to bottom in this particular relay, then of course the relay will operate, otherwise it will not operate. So by itself, this slave relay does not perform any comparative duty, but it just sees the direction of current, and when the direction of current is from top to bottom in this particular in any particular direction, then the relay will have to generate a signal, and of course it will operate the circuit breaker. Now, gentlemen, these two relays which we are currently considering or studying, these are not powered static relays. These can be called a hybrid type of relays because there are two characteristics are there. One is of course electronic characteristic, steady state, static element characteristic, and one is of course the electromagnetic type of characteristic. Because these relay, that is the slave relay, is basically the output of this, that is electromagnetic type of relays output. So therefore, these relays are not pure static relays. This is of course a hybrid type of relays, right? So you just note this point at this time. Now, this is another arrangement. This is another arrangement. This arrangement is the same type of rectifier arrangement. We have two rectifiers, pressure rectifier rather. One is of course rectifying the operating current, and one is of course rectifying, of course, the restraining current. But instead of feeding the output of these current to a slave relay, they are given to a thyristor circuit through a transistor as the arrangement they are. Okay, ji. Now see this circuit, this is the same type of arrangement as far as the rectifiers are concerned. But the output is not given to a slave relay or polarized relay, but it is given to a transistor arrangement. It is directly given to on the base of this transistor, which is shown in this particular uh, figure. So the upper current which is given to the is of course, let's say for example, if operating current is greater than the restraining current, then we have a positive at the base of this transistor, and the transistor start conduction, and when it start conduction we have a small transformer arrangement, and it's of course give a signal, or you may say to the thyristor third grid, and the thyristor start conduction. So therefore, of course, then of course the next is of course a signal is generated on account of that. So it's very much clear. It is similar type of arrangement, but the output is different. This is transistor thyristor arrangement. The transistor start conduction when we have the operating current is greater than the restraining current, and when we have positive voltage at the base of this transistor, then the transistor start conduction, and when it start conduction we have a small transformer arrangement, and which is given of course supply to the control grid of this thyristor, and the thyristor start conduction. So naturally, same type of arrangement, but the output equipment or the output component is different from the previous one. Gentlemen, and note these circuits, study these circuit in this particular week. Next time we will meet, we have, if you have any question about it, I'll explain that question. Okay. Now this shows a rectifier bridge type amplitude comparator with thyristor circuit as an output device. To get more accurate results, the bridge rectifier can be replaced by a precision rectifier applied an operational amplifier. Now, gentlemen, precision rectifier you might have studied in some course. Precision rectifier is being made up using operational amplifier, and of course, it is a rectifier with less voltage drop or no voltage drop in this, because any rectifier has a certain voltage drop, because by itself it is a certain resistance or impedance. So any rectifier we are using, except this precision rectifier, uh, it has certain voltage drop. So to avoid some time and to have a good characteristic of these type of relays, uh, instead of the simple bridge rectifier, sometime precision rectifier is implied, uh, which uses an operational amplifier. So if you need, I'll give you the circuit of precision rectifier when I have interaction with you. So just note this point. Now, a slave relay or DC polarized relay. Now, gentlemen, this is the same polarized relay, same type of characteristics as we have studied in case of directional overcurrent relay. Directional overcurrent relay. A slave relay is an output device that does not perform the function of comparison or measurement. It is only an output device. When the current direction, we have seen that from top to bottom the relay operates, otherwise the relay does not operate. Right? Polarized relay, for the same type of relay we call polarized relay, whose operation depend upon and the direction of current or voltage. So you see, in that particular relay, I have explained this point to you, that if the direction current is this way, the relay will operate. If the direction current is opposite, so of course it will not operate. And that particular supply of that magnet was called polarized current, polarized magnet or polarized you say current was flowing in that IP. If you remember, we have represented that current in IP, polarized current. Thanks, Sundu.